Hi everyone, I'm Vignesh Sivakumar from Phoenix Financial Training, and I'm here to share a bit of guidance and advice relevant to the Advanced Performance Management exam. In case you're taking this exam, you'll be walking into the exam in a few days, and you will see 3 questions in the exam. One question worth 50 marks, which will contain 4 professional marks for laying out your answer in a report format, and 2 25-mark questions. Most of the marks, when I say most, about 75 to 80% of the marks will be for discussion that you put into your answer. About 15 to 20% of the marks are available for numerical calculations. Most of you may be taking the exam via paper-based mode, but if you are in a market where the exams have moved to computer-based mode, you will naturally be taking the exam on a computer. Now, in terms of key examinable areas on APM, it's important to appreciate knowing the knowledge alone on APM is not a significant value add, for the simple reason that in APM, most of the marks come from applying the knowledge in the scenario, mixing it with a lot of common sense, and producing a scenario relevant answer. Knowing the knowledge will probably give you the structure and the headings within the answer, but that's just about it. So often, to improve on this skill of application, it is useful to practice questions on some of the commonly tested topics that you tend to see on APM. Now, what would this be? If you look at past exam questions on some of these areas listed there, such as evaluation of reports, evaluating KPIs against stated objectives, goals of a company, assessing the impact of the environment on performance of a company, and then looking at questions where you have a variety of information systems and IT related ideas such as big data and data warehousing and data mining, RFID, and trying to assess the impact of its implementation on the company, you will get to cover a lot of ground that you often see tested in the section A, 50 markers. You will also see a lot of section B questions on areas including corporate failure, activity-based management, lean systems such as JIT, TQM. Non-financial performance models also form an important part of APM and very frequently come up. So when I say non-financial performance models, this would include the balance scorecard, building block model, performance pyramid, where you may need to apply the model in the context of the company, probably suggest or evaluate KPIs, sometimes even discuss problems associated with implementation. In the context of not-for-profit organizations, you need to be well-versed with how you apply value for money concepts to an organization, as well as be able to discuss the merits and demerits of applying league tables to measure performance of not-for-profit organizations. There are questions that tend to come up occasionally on managing risk and uncertainty. This would involve you helping the company take decisions using techniques like Maximax, Maximin, Minimax, Regret, and so on. Value-based management and economic value-added computations are also a significant part of the APM curriculum. Besides the topics I've mentioned, budgetary systems also tends to come up occasionally, where most of the time the question tends to be advice related to the budgetary system being used. You're often given a scenario where a company is following a certain budgetary system, such as an incremental or a zero-based approach, and you're asked to offer advice on whether that needs to change and what that needs to change to, and so on. Now, irrespective of what gets tested, how do you make sure you impress the mark and make your script stand out? The few things that you have to bear in mind: one, good structure. Irrespective of what knowledge area gets tested, if you know the broad headings you want to structure your answer around, it improves your thought process and consequently the quality of your answers. Often requirements in the exam have many parts to it, especially the 50 markers where there are embedded requirements within the paragraph where the examiner asks you to do 2 or 3 things within one subpart of the question. And that's where answer planning is such an important thing, because you would be able to break up the requirement, plan your answer, make sure you address all the parts, and thereby maximize the chances of passing the exam. In an exam like APM, just like the other ACCA exams, time management is very critical, and it's important to score the easy marks on every question. And critical for that is to spread your time evenly depending on the marks available in the exam. You only have 195 minutes for 100 marks. So it's all about being rigorous with the time management and not exceeding your time on any one question and thereby risking the possibility of not being able to do the entire or part of a question at a later stage in the exam. Finally, to reiterate the point I've made earlier, go beyond the knowledge. The knowledge is only as useful as being able to structure your answer and worth a few marks of definitions at the start. 95% of the exam is application. So application is the name of the game, and that comes with a lot of question practice under simulated exam conditions. So make sure you put in plenty of question practice between now and the exam. The more questions you do, the merrier. The more questions you do under exam conditions, time conditions, the better prepared you will be going into the exam. So I wish you all the very best, and I hope your exam goes really, really well.